Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Klonoa 2. We saved the town that's always warring with itself, so hooray for that, I guess.
How did you remember?
I scanned the video ahead of time.
For everyone that doesn't know, we haven't done a recording session since the last part for 2 or 3 weeks, so I already didn't remember what the hell was going on in this game, and I am now even more lost.
Well, not Impa here is telling us some probably very important things, but she doesn't seem very interested in it because her eyes are closed. Okay. She's asleep. Also, why is her hand a ring and a bunch of commas?
Because fantasy.
Because it's a shiny ring, and those are shine. They're not fingers, they're shines.
Okay.
It's the sun. It's the sun. Put his hand in the corner, and it's the sun that's shining. There you go.
So someone bumps into her on her way to the kitchen, and you just hear the Sonic the Hedgehog ring sound, and a bunch of rings scatter everywhere. And oh no, Impa has disappeared.
Has anybody ever wondered where the disappearing rings go when you don't grab them back after being hit in Sonic? They go on his hand. That's where they go.
It's like a Dragon Age Black Emporium gag, the Vessel of Lost Socks. There's this DLC in Dragon Age 2. Honestly, the best thing in the game because like the shopkeeper is this Resident Evil 4 merchant tier meme constructed entirely of ad-libbed lines that I think the male voice actor of Hawk did, and it's just like made up jokes on the fly. And all along the background, there are these wacky objects that you can examine throughout the entire game. And one of them is the Vessel of Lost Socks, complete with a codex entry about this crazy first enchanter who theorized that all his lost socks were actually spirits from the Fade, and he wanted to uncover them and study their behavior and shit. And it's just...
And much like every other part of our playthrough, that has nothing to do with what we're playing or watching right now. We're good at that.
Of course.
We're very good at that.
We're great at that. Bye-bye, ice cream cone man.
I just noticed that there's also like a little green bird perched on the top of Impa's cone head. Okay.
I mean, if I were a green bird, I'd sit there. I think we all would.
Ever since Saj from Final Fantasy 13, I haven't been able to look at any character that has a bird perched on their head without thinking of the mess that would leave. Oof.
Well, I mean, with it looking a bit like an ice cream wafer cone head, it could be vanilla ice cream. It's fine. It could go either way. Although it'd be on backwards. It'd be on upside down, which is not useful.
Okay, what's our next level here? Is that a pirate ship, or is that like...
It's an arc.
It's an arc. We're going to see Noah.
Oh, okay. You see, I saw that, and for some reason, the only thing I could think of was the first level of Rayman 2, where you're on that pirate ship trying to escape.
Oh, yes, the darkest opening to a platformer that's ever been put on a video game, ever.
Oh, yeah, if you don't count stuff like Jak 2, I guess.
Yeah, but okay. In comparison to what the sequel to the original, like the tone is totally different. Actually, do you know what? I would argue that Jak 2's opening isn't like massively tonally different because it's still got Daxter in it, so it's fine. But Rayman is just like, oh yeah, here's all these slaves on a ship, and there's tens of thousands of them starving and begging for water, and there's Rayman. Good luck, everyone.
Man, I'm definitely liking these environments more than the ones I saw in the Wii remake of Klonoa 1.
Yeah, it's like we said, it's because this game was built to have these environments from the start, instead of like being just kind of like chiseled off and repurposed from PS1 to Wii.
Yeah, so now that I'm looking at them properly, I would really like to see the concept art that went into this.
Ah, that's a good idea. Well, we can do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right now. And nobody can see what I'm looking at, but I'm gonna enjoy it, and that's all that matters.
Google at your fingertips is too much power.
Concept art. Oh, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's very Kingdom Heartsy, weirdly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like kind of loads of stained glassy effects kind of thing, and there's more. To be fair, there's more concept art for the HD remaster than there is for the actual original, but still pretty cool though.
Oh, I see.
I'd be surprised if Bamco actually held on to a lot of the stuff for the original game.
Although saying that, I made the Kingdom Hearts comparison, but if you look at Klonoa's original design, well, in this game anyway, it's basically Sora from Kingdom Hearts 1 if you look at it with like squinty eyes. Like the big baggy shorts, skinny legs, giant shoes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Zippers.
Even has kind of a similar color scheme, thinking about it.
Yeah, probably both got as much of an affinity for mice. Klonoa's a cat, Sora has Mickey.
Okay, so what is with that flip animation?
You're doing that.
You can press button. Yeah, you can press buttons while you're going out of the cans, and it'll do little things.
Oh, I see.
Well, you say little things, you mean one little thing. It's only just flipping around in one direction, right?
You can flip and you can do little barrel rolls.
Oh, nice one. Does it give you any Tony Hawk points?
Nope, it's just there just to do it.
Oh.
Just a thing that you can do during the loading transitions, yeah. It's just nice to have. Alright, let's see. Let me think. Why is the wall, like, made of all these... I was gonna say octagons, but that's 8-sided shapes.
Hexagons.
Hexagons.
Because that is a giant wasp's nest. And there's loads of wasp larvae in those hexagons.
Shapes with BSE.
Huh.
And Klonoa is a cat and will eat all the larvae. And the cycle of life continues.
Are cats known for eating larvae?
Skunks are. And, you know, if you think about it, what's the difference? Cat, skunk, you know, same thing.
I wouldn't want to be an animal that lives off bee larvae or wasp larvae. That sounds painful.
Have you guys ever watched those videos of people clearing out giant wasps' nests and stuff?
Ugh, no.
Oh, well, I mean, they're gross, but they're fascinating because it's like, yeah, like, what they do is that they get, like, the layers of the nest out, and then there's all these, like, wiggly little maggots and stuff in each of the hexagons. It's disgusting. But then what they do is that they break it off like honeycomb and give it to chickens, and the chickens just love it. So chickens eat it, which is great for the chickens.
Oh, yeah. But, like...
Chickens are carnivores, everybody.
Hey, when I was a kid, we had this outdoor pool. And, like, I put my hand over the side of the pool nonchalantly while I was swimming. And just excruciating pain out of nowhere. And turns out there was a wasp that was just hanging out over there.
Oh, and you've got those nasty American wasps as well, because we like only have like 1 or 2 types, but you have like those giant hornets and death wasps and stuff. We don't have any of that stuff.
Well, I think Japan has this beat for big scary wasps.
True.
Ours aren't ours aren't great.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
You guys have house centipedes. They're the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
I've never even seen one, to be honest, but so I've heard. But like, I'm not squicky about bugs in general, but because of that experience with that particular wasp, I'm just terrified of being blindsided by a bee or wasp that I didn't see coming.
Oh, it'd be awful to be blindsided by a bee, especially because if it did sting you, it would die, so you would contribute to the death of the bee population as well as get a sting.
No, I'm not going to take responsibility for a flaw in the creature's natural design, but I do generally try to avoid killing bugs when I can avoid it. So
I'm a spider saver. I stick them in glasses and then throw them outside, and they probably freeze to death. But yeah, it's not my problem. It's not my problem. I didn't do it.
If there's a bug in my room, I will actually, like, unironically take a napkin or something and try to, like, transport them outside.
Yeah.
Kill them.
And then you squeeze too hard, and then you're like, ugh.
No. I like to think I'm at least semi-well practiced at doing this without crushing bugs. Also, bugs are more resilient than you would expect.
That's very true.
But-
That's very true. Cockroaches will survive a nuclear apocalypse, which is great news.
I'm sorry. I just became self-aware mid-conversation and asked myself, how did we land on this topic? I do that at least twice a commentary, but you know.
I think. Do you know what? I think what it is as great as this game is, you're doing the same kind of thing throughout most of the levels. It's just mostly a visual difference. So it's like the mechanics are very simple, and it's mostly the same kind of thing. So what can you really comment over?
I don't know. You did good on your stream being on topic with the game a lot.
Was it? I don't try. I just say whatever comes to my head.
Well, it's also easier to think active thoughts about the game you're playing when you're actively playing it, so.
Very, very true, yeah. I'm watching someone else play it, and I'm just like, oh, I did this also. That's the extent of my commentary. Actually, no, I didn't do this. I did everything and got all the goddamn gems in every level, which was a nightmare.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm not going quite that far.
I got like halfway through collecting everything in Klonoa 1 on the Wii when I had that. Before I decided I didn't really like the game well enough to continue doing that, so I just stopped.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
The
This is at least an all levels playthrough, so we do all the bonus stages.
yeah, I like the scenery, but I'm trying to make heads or tails of what everything is, and I guess this game is just intricate enough to make you look at things and wonder what their function could be, but not quite intricate enough that there is actually an answer to that question. For example, all this piping in the background.
Oh, I thought.
What is all this
So I thought we
piping?
were in the middle of a big tree. That's what I thought we were doing right now.
It does kind of look like that until you like look closer at the piping in the background and you see it's like patterned metal, and there are little seams at regular intervals, so it's definitely piping.
Metal wasps. That's what it is.
It's definitely machinery of some kind. But, I'm wondering what it is, and I'm just like, yeah, this game isn't detailed enough to have an answer to that question. Why am I asking?
It's using its limitations as a PS2 game and it being a dream world and all the other shit to be like, hey, it doesn't really matter if it makes sense or not. It's just cool. But then it becomes like, oh well, like when people ask what your favorite level is, you can go, oh, this is the blue level, because there's no real theme to it. It's just kind of blue.
Well, I mean, there's probably definitely a theme to it, but it's also a little difficult to make heads or tails of the details. Like there's a windmill construction up at the top of this tower, but I'm not really sure how that connects to the water pipes all around. But you know, the entire thing is giving off this vibe of a utopian city, but because it's a platformer level and all of the details have to be focused on having platformer level gimmicks, there's no actual city to the level.
No.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
so it's all just kind of a little wacky.
What we need to do is we need to go and get Vati Vidya, and he's got to go deep into the lore of Klonoa 2, and he's going to analyze every single background detail, and he's going to make all of it make sense.
It's always a little weird trying to analyze the details of a video game level, because at different points and at different times in video game history, game devs and game writers have put a different level of emphasis on filling in the details of a game's world to a point where even RPGs can be more or less vague about that kind of thing depending on what year they were made.
Yeah.
Platformers especially are a bit wacky about that, because like it's kind of the Sonic the Hedgehog thing. The games will try to have worlds and stories that make some amount of sense, but they'll still have loop-de-loops in their levels, so to speak.
Yeah.
Or sometimes literally. And it's always like, it's entertaining to try wrapping your head around that kind of contradiction.
Yeah. But like, if you stop and think about it for too hard for more than a second, it's like just then Ryan was using a flying bird egg creature that look at all these things. They're appearing from portals, and all they seem to exist to do is fly up and down in the same area infinitely forever, and they just keep getting replaced by their brethren. Like, why? You can't explain the reasoning for how the world functions with that kind of shit. Why is that there? Why are they doing that? How does the life cycle of Eggbird work? I don't know.
Wait, why are there 2 checkpoints in the same location?
Because you come back that way.
Oh, I see.
I thought I'd be fine, and then I missed the jump. Oops.
It's always humiliating
Goddamn.
when you die right next to a checkpoint that you voluntarily
Ignored.
didn't get.
Yeah. I did that recently on RE4 Remake. I'm doing new game pluses and like finding all the hidden shit and trying to get better ranks and getting the unlimited ammo guns and everything. And I was...
You didn't save at the typewriter and you died right after?
No, it wasn't that. I was on professional and I didn't read the small print of you don't get auto saves or checkpoints. So I went from the beginning of the game and I got to Del Lago and I fucked up Del Lago and then it started off at the opening cutscene. And I was like, okay, here's my... Hey, Steam Deck, have you met Floor before? And just threw it. And I was like, I'm done. And then I gave it a day, and then I was fine, and then I was like, yeah, that is like the most demotivating thing you could possibly ever experience in a game, when you make hours of progress and then just have to do it all again. Like,
yeah, I'd say save generously in professional mode, but depending on what rank you're going for, that isn't even an option.
I did look it up, and apparently to get an S+ rank, you need to start a brand new game without any bonus weapons, and you only have 15 saves. But if you want to get an S rank on New Game Plus, you can save as many times as you want. So you just need to beat it within 5.5 hours or something like that. So. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
It's literally one save at the beginning of each chapter, unless you know a chapter well enough to skip the save for that. So
yeah. I'm trying to, as I'm going through, I'm kind of looking at parts of the game where it's like you could die really ridiculously easy. So like the first time I've saved in this playthrough is just before Del Lago, just in case, because you can die so quickly and easily through no fault of your own in that fight.
I think in professional mode, you have enough health to fuck up exactly twice.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is not much. It's not much of a room for error. So yeah. So like another one I noticed as well was when you first save Ashley from the church, and then you're kind of escorting her around a little bit. I've accidentally shot her a couple of times, and then that counts as a game over. So it's almost like. When you know that there's a massive long Ashley segment coming up, save before that, or when there's like, I don't know, the minecart sequence because the chainsaw guys can kill you in one hit, save before that. So just save before areas where you think you could possibly die in one hit. Especially the ending. Professional mode on the speedboat thing is no joke. No joke at all.
Yeah, I think I saw John stream that part. He died a couple times, and I was like, "Wow, the jet ski, really?
Yeah,
the jet ski.
What is this? Crash 3 Insane?"
I remember the jet ski being like absolutely effortless in the original game.
Yeah,
I'm like,
oh yeah, it's easy peasy in the original, but in the redo they throw way more shit at you, and you have a health bar, and it's just a nightmare. You can in the original you can just rub everything. You can rub up against all the walls and stuff as long as you don't hit a direct wall. You're fine. But Remake doesn't let you do that. You have to play perfectly, and it's quite tense.
Yeah, I'm a little off and on about professional mode in Resident Evil 4 Remake. It seems like they went a little too hard on it in some areas, but
it is professional mode.
Yeah, but from what I've seen of analysis of it on YouTube and stuff, it seems like they added a bunch of like AI rubber banding to the enemies, so you can't count on them falling too far behind when you're like kiting them around the place. And I'm not sure about adding that kind of challenge to this sort of game.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's like a Mario Kart game. You don't need that.
But I'm not 100% sure of how accurate those particular analysis videos were. So I'm taking it with a grain of salt until I play it for myself, which won't be anytime soon because I'm not super big on high difficulty levels.
They can be very intimidating.
Well, it's more like my earliest experiences with them were in BioWare games, where the idea of making a high difficulty mode is mostly turning everything else into a massive damage sponge,
Yeah.
whereas you die in like 2 hits. Mass Effect 2 was particularly obnoxious about that. Like, everything has a goddamn shield that takes forever to take down, but you're out of cover for 2 seconds and your ass is grass, pushing up the daisies.
Yeah.
Ugh. But, like... Okay, so... The part's over, and I didn't realize it because my video was looping. Oops.
Oops.
Klonoa found the typewriter. It's fine. We've got a checkpoint now.